Hi, Happy New Year. Let's backtrack a little bit. So in December I had finals and then holidays and some unfortunate events happened in my life. But it's a new year and things are getting better. Not my face has acne on it. Other than that, things are getting better. And that means I get to catch up on videos like my December wrap-up / favorites and my top 12 of 2012 and so many book hauls that I need to make. But I'm glad that I'm going to be able to catch up and thank you guys so much. I have 1,000 subscribers now and that's really, really nice. Having so many people here that like reading. Well, I also like reading. It's just thank you so much. So the wrap-up / favorite video is the video that I wrap up all the books that I read during the month, and then I also talk about my favorites of the month, such as like my Netflix view of the month and the mugs that I bought that month and all that stuff. If you want to skip to the favorites of this video, I always have annotations that like you could skip to the favorite section because I know that the wrap-ups are pretty lengthy. So let us get into them. The first book that I finished in December was The Hello SIA by Sam Pink. I do not have the book with me currently. 2 people borrowed it from me and one person really liked it, the second person's still reading it, so that's good. It was a very hard hit on retail, but it was so realistic and so delved deep into your soul and ripped out all the good things that you liked about your job and just threw them at you. It made me feel, which is good. Books always, it's good when they make you feel. It just made me feel very angry. But I did give it 3 out of 5 stars because I did appreciate the reality of the whole retail situation. And it did remind me a lot of mine, and that did make me feel quite sad. But again, it's nice when books make you feel. And I would recommend it if you do work in retail, or I would recommend you at least looking at the book on Goodreads or something. It is quite interesting. The next book that I finished this month was The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Really don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but I dog-eared quite a lot of pages in this book, and I underlined literally like something on every other page. Oscar Wilde has such interesting theories on everything, and something that was really talked about a lot was someone's soul, or if they have a soul. That was something that was just brought up a lot. But there was just so many things. Oscar Wilde has so many amazing things to say, and I feel like so many people should hear them. This was so much easier to get through as a classic than I thought it would be. A lot of the chapters ended with you being like, oh my god, I need to see what's gonna happen next, which was surprising to me. Basil is one of my favorite characters of all time now because his thoughtfulness really led to something very scary, which was so interesting to me, and this book was so good. I so recommend this to everybody. Even though I only gave it 4 out of 5 stars, I would recommend this book to anybody. It's really very easy to get through and it's a good book. Something that I wish that I would have gotten more out of was the book that Lord Henry lent to Dorian. In one chapter towards the middle, Lord Henry lent a book to Dorian and he said, oh, this book changed my life and I want you to read it. Dorian Gray spent the next chapter completely mesmerized by this book, and it completely changed his character after that, and I want to know more about the book, and I know that, you know, it probably wasn't meant for me to know more about the book. It was probably supposed to be more, I don't know, something that the reader was just supposed to figure out for themselves, but I wish I knew more about the book, and it was just, this book, it was wonderful. Next book, I read The Tiny Book of Tiny Stories, Volume 2. I read the other one last month, the Volume 1. There's not much that you could say about this book. I give it a 5 out of 5. It's adorable. Just sentences and illustrations and everything nice in the world, basically. And it's like that on every page, and it's just really cute. It's very nice to have in my collection. Just 5 out of 5 stars. That's it. Next book that I read was 9 Stories by J.D. Salinger. J.D. Salinger also wrote Catcher in the Rye, and I haven't read that one yet personally. I will be reading it this year. I borrowed this book from a friend, and I'm very glad that I did because there was not one of the short stories that I didn't like. I absolutely loved every short story. Each one tied together very well at the end of their own separate stories, and there was no loose ends at all. They were absolutely fantastic, and they were entertaining to read by themselves, and you'd want to read like 2 or 3 at a time because you just wanted to read more of his work. He's a very wonderful writer. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars, and if you don't know if you want to read Catcher in the Rye yet, because I know I was nervous about it because it's very controversial. Some people love it and some people hate it. This made me very excited to read Catcher in the Rye, so that's a plus. Did I say I gave it 5 out of 5 stars? Because I did. Great book. Next book that I read was The Snow Child by this author right here. I don't know how to pronounce her name. It was played off like an adult fairy tale, basically. It's about this older couple. They moved to Alaska and they couldn't have kids, and then one day they built a snowman out of the snow. Snow Child. Sounds interesting. It so wasn't interesting in the slightest. It was maybe, I don't like the 20s. I don't like reading about the 20s personally, and it was just a really boring story to get into. She was a wonderful writer. She really, really was. It just, I couldn't get into the story. It was a 4.0 on Goodreads, so if you think that you would be interested in a story like this, I would go on there and see other people's reviews about it. It was just not for me at all. And the ending, I don't see how anybody could appreciate the ending in this. It was just disappointing to me. I gave it a 2 out of 5. Not for me. Next book I read. There was so many borrowing books this month. It made me so happy that other people in my life that I know in real life wanted to read with me. Oh, it was so nice. I borrowed so many books this month. I loved it. I borrowed this one from my friend at work, and it is Delirium. So many people I've seen have read this online, and I was very excited to read this and see like what other people thought of it. Everyone loved it. I really enjoyed it. For a young adult book, I thought that it did have a lot of depth. The writer did know what she was talking about, and it was a really easy story to get into. I wish that I got more of the love interest Alex's, view on things. I feel like I didn't get much from his character at all. To tell you a little bit about the story, love is a disease in the future, and Lena's 18, and you get this procedure in the future when you're 18 so you could stop loving things and be a normal human being. I will definitely be reading the sequel. Pandemonium is on my Kindle right now. Very excited to read that. And I gave Delirium 3 out of 5 stars. Very enjoyable and not my favorite book, but I will still be reading the rest of it. The last book that I read in December was Hannah, which is a sort of like latch-on story to Delirium. Hannah was Lena's best friend in the book, and it just sort of gave her point of view and sort of a mini book about her time during this whole turning 18 thing and getting into the whole love aspect in her perspective, and I thought that was really interesting. There's also another one with Annabelle and another one with some other person. I read the one with Annabelle, but I read that in January, so we'll wait on that one. But I gave that one 3 out of 5 stars as well because it was very interesting seeing another person's point of view within the book. That's it. On to the favorites. Favorite book of the month. That's going to be 9 Stories by J.D. Salinger. Most definitely, I would recommend this to anybody. Just because you could read any of these stories during any time during your day. You could, like, in between classes or, like, in between going to work and, like, coming to class. Any time where you have free time, it's so much easier to read a short story rather than read some of your novel and be like, what happened next? And all these books are so good. There's not one bad one, so you won't be disappointed throughout any part of your day. The next one that I would recommend after that one would be Picture of Dorian Gray, but I'll leave that for when you have extra time, definitely. Netflix view of the month. I watched Freaks and Geeks this month. Oh my god. It is a show that was made in 1999 that features Seth Rogen, James Franco, and Jason Segel, as well as other wonderful people like Martin Starr and other wonderful people. It is such a good high school show. It only lasted 1 season. I would so suggest anyone who has Netflix, please go watch Freaks and Geeks. It was a wonderful experience to have just watching it. And also I've been watching a lot of Wilfred. I've grown to love Wilfred, and also Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. Favorite beverage this month is pumpkin coffee. Get it from either Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks. Just ask for pumpkin coffee. Put a little bit of half and half in it. Oh my god. Get it before the season's out because the season is technically already out for pumpkin, but they still have it. Ask for it. Mug of the month. I collect novelty mugs for those of you who are not aware. I bought 3 mugs this month. It's starting to get really bad. We're running out of space. I am going to feature this one because it's awesome. There's octopuses and they're being all cute. And then on the back, it says So Jelly. Stress relieving product of the month. Like I mentioned, December was quite stressful for me. There was a lot of bad things that happened in my life, and then there was finals and just everything in between there. Other than the holidays were good. Friends and burritos just really helped me out. Both of those things combined. Just friends and eating burritos with friends and just being happy with my friends. It was so heartwarming and everyone just helped me out so much, and I could not thank everybody enough for being so wonderful in my life. Last thing, favorite song of the month is going to be By Your Hand. Such a catchy song. So good. Everybody go check it out. I hope you guys had a fantastic month, and I hope you guys have a fantastic 2013 and you guys are excited to read and all this stuff. I have resolutions too. If you guys want to hear my resolutions, I could put those in the next video. I really have to catch up on some video related stuff. So you'll probably be seeing more videos very soon, and I'm sorry that I took a little bit of a break, but it was needed. But I am back now, so that is good. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and everything like that. It meant so much, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!